Hi guys, this is my 2016 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution MR in Rally Red, and I'm going to do a quick walk around for people that are interested in buying this car. It's for sale. The price is $38,000, and I'm going to do my best to point out defects, especially because it is a 15-year-old car. It is definitely nowhere close to perfect. It's a very rare car with very limited small miles, only 48,000 miles on it. So let's do a walk around for people that, especially people if you're out of state and you're thinking about flying out here to look at it. I don't want you flying out here without knowing what you're getting into, and I'm sure you don't want to either. I've bought a lot of cars out of state and I know how it is. So let's do a quick walk around. I just got the car washed. I just got a new battery put in yesterday in preparation to get it up for sale. So here we go. I'll do my best to do a good walk around for you. So we'll start at the front and then I guess do a lap around the car and then go inside and then pop the hood and start it up. So all right, let's start at the front. And the paint is actually really good on this car. I did something like this yesterday for my M5 that I'm selling, and that car has a decent chunk of scratches on the paint, unfortunately, and this car doesn't, fortunately. But there are some cracks in the front splitter right here. Just from, it's a low front splitter. This did not bother me because owning this car, I know I'm going to be hitting it more and it's just going to crack more, and it doesn't, very hard to notice from far away. Also a very easily replaced item, so nothing expensive. The headlights have like a glue sealant or something like that. Someone told me they think that someone had put like these eyelids or something like that over the headlights that were popular back in the day. It makes the headlight look different, I guess. That was what one person's idea was, but this should come off probably with some sort of a chemical. It just hasn't really bothered me because I bought it to drive it. Same with this headlight, but the hood's good. Nothing majorly wrong on the hood. And the front bumper is good other than that lip crack. License plate holders on the front. Let's go around the side here. Pretty much all four rims have some little curb rash. Not a lot. Actually, I think this is the only one that doesn't have much. Just a little tiny bits there. And these are the BBSs that came with the MR package, the original wheels with the huge Brembo brakes, and the brakes are still good. I've had those checked out recently, and it has wheel locks on the wheels with the wheel lock key inside the car. A lot of the trim, this is common for a 15-year-old car, but a lot of the trim has some wear. You can see the little bit shinier here than here. That's not unusual. However, I think when the car was resprayed, so obviously the reason why the paint looks so good is it was touched up or resprayed, whatever you want to call it, fairly recently. I think the previous owner did that. I think they may have resprayed right here on the B pillar because that actually looks really good. I wish they would have resprayed this trim, but whatever, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But as far as the car goes, I don't really see any major scratches down the side of the car here. Let's go to the roof and give you a little look here. I don't see any major defects. The black up here is just a little faded. The trim a little bit faded, not the end of the world. Oh, one thing I will show you, if someone were trying to make this car look like it's a collector's car, really, so if you're trying to make it perfect again, definitely would want to pick up new windshield wipers. Just the frames probably were super cheap, like the little plastic things missing right there, all the little really small stuff. Probably replace the cowl again, cheap, just to make it look new again. But all these things didn't bother me because I bought it to drive it. The vortex generator thing, you can tell it was repainted and it was matched with at the same time. I think the paint was all done when the JDM rear bumper was put on. So just point that out. This gray, it's like a gunmetal, matches perfectly to the JDM rear bumper down here. But I'll go back to this wheel. I didn't show you this wheel yet. A little bit of curb rash, not too bad, but a little bit here too. These could always be resurfaced, but I'm sure most people just want to drive this. But yeah, no dents or scratches back here on the rear quarter panel. Oh, what's this? Oh, I think this will come. It's like it's like tree sap. Never mind. Nothing. Not a problem. The car is tinted all around. Not super dark, but enough to notice. Come to the back here, give you a little bit better view. So it does have the JDM rear taillights with the JDM rear bumper. and obviously it's an MR, as I mentioned, so you've got the Evolution MR badge there. It has the HKS Sport exhaust, which for an aftermarket exhaust is actually very quiet, and it's exactly what it came with the car when I got it, but that's what I would have wanted if I would have known, if I would have been looking for one, because it doesn't draw attention from the cops. So we've got the original carbon fiber wing here, and it's actually in really good shape. I'll try to give you a little look at it here, but I don't see any major defects. I have seen some, when I was looking at Evos, before I bought this, I saw a lot of them that had a really bad clear coat on the top. So this one looks pretty good. Similar situation on this rear windshield wiper blade. I know a lot of people like to delete these. This could either be repainted or a new one. Probably a new one would be cheap, so if you wanted, same thing for me. I didn't care. We'll come along to this side of the car, and as I mentioned, most of the wheels have a little bit of curb rash. All the tires have been checked, they're all good, and I already mentioned the brakes are good. Everything in the car is good, it's ready to drive, other than the tune not being perfect, as I mentioned. I wish the tune was a little bit better. I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just go down the side of the car here, and it's pretty much the same story as the other side. There aren't any major scratches or dents on this side of the car either. Paint looks really good, and it's just the same story where, like, you know, the trim and stuff is just faded a little bit. Here's your mirror, everything's good. A little bit of curb rash on the front right wheel. So that was our walk around the car. Let's jump inside, show you the interior, get to the engine, get to the driving. So here's the interior, and obviously it has those amazing Recaros with the Alcantara inserts that came only with the MR. Alcantara on the side, and the MR floor mats. Now, I did mention in my listing that one of the major defects of the car is that one of the previous owners at some point jacked the car up and used a jack stand right here underneath the car instead of on the rail where it's supposed to be. So the floor pan is actually pushed up. Now, this probably sounds really bad when you're saying that, but when you're actually driving the car, you don't notice it a whole lot, because usually your foot is either on the dead pedal or the clutch. It's really when you get into the car, you first climb in, that you feel that a little bit, but it's, you know, it's not huge, but it's there. Anyway, I like to be transparent. Anyway, you've got your aluminum pedals, and this is always where the biggest amount of wear on seats is, right here on the side bolster, and it's actually in really good condition. There's no rips or tears, and there are no rips or tears anywhere in the interior. So let's go ahead and show you the mileage, just so you can see that I'm not lying. And I will mention about the mileage while I'm showing you. Guess I'll just start her up here. But so as you can see here, we've got 48,698 miles, and I'll probably be putting a little bit of miles on in the next few weeks, but you know, just probably won't go over it probably won't get close to 49,000 anytime soon. But I did check the Carfax history, and if you look at the history, you could see that this isn't like a fake mileage. There wasn't any turning back of the odometer. The history of maintenance and stuff all adds up perfectly to point that this is accurate. It just was, you know, everyone that's owned the car, it was probably more of a weekend car. So, okay, moving on. We have a aftermarket head unit. This is something I mentioned was a project I was working on. I never finished it. This trim is just kind of lightly placed in right now, just because this just needs to be bracketed in. The bracket, I have the bracket and all the stuff, and it has a rear view camera if you ever want to install that. I didn't install that yet, but it works fine. It Bluetooths to your phone, so you can listen to music in the car and take phone calls, which is great. It's Android. I was originally wanting to set this up so that you could use a OBD2 what I call like sensor thing, and it's a Bluetooth OBD2 plug that will talk to this so that you can display your boost gauge and other car parameters on the screen. I thought that'd be a really cool idea, and I never got around to that, but you could do that if you wanted to, if you're buying this car. Interior is really clean, as I mentioned. You got your MR floor mats over here. Seat over here obviously looks good, as I mentioned. You got your 6-speed manual, and again, the 6-speed here, it's a rebuilt Shep transmission, which is amazing. Really, really hard to find a rebuilt 6-speed. It's built to handle more power and be reliable, unlike the original 6-speeds that came in these cars that tend to break like this one did. You got your carbon fiber e-brake, your little carbon fiber shift knob. I think these are Momo, along with the steering wheel is Momo. I think that's the manufacturer. So I suppose I will pop the hood, and then I will show you the back seats. So I do have my kids' car seats back here, and these are awesome. And if someone really, really wants them with the car, I'm sure I could include them. These are pretty expensive. And I really just love the color and how they match the car so well, fading from almost the same rally red at the top as the car to the black of the interior and everything in between. But same Alcantara side. All the windows go up and down. Everything works. The seats are still in good condition back here. It was just vacuumed. That's pretty much it. There's not much to show you in the back. It's just nothing's bad. Oh, also, I'll pop the trunk, and I'll show you that in the trunk I have a brand new AMS front mount intercooler ready for 450 wheel horsepower, and all this stuff over here is a MA Performance E85 kit. That's a 450 wheel horsepower ready kit for the car. So everything's ready. It's got the aftermarket turbo. It's ready. Once you install those parts and get it tuned, just double checking the hood's ready. Once you get it tuned with those parts installed, easily 450 wheel horsepower. All right, so here's the motor. We got the engine intake with this is a different intake filter that does speed density. Brand new battery that was just installed that has a warranty. You can see the big turbo down there. This is the aftermarket turbo. Spools much faster. And then if you look over here, you can see the NVIDIA O2 housing. So that goes all the way down to an NVIDIA. So this is a 3-inch O2 housing that goes to a 3-inch downpipe that goes to the 3-inch HKS exhaust. So it's 3-inch all the way back, but it doesn't sound too loud. You actually get more noise from the motor with the blow off and the turbo than you do with the exhaust, which is perfect, and it's all California legal. Have the Fortune 500 coilovers with Swift springs. These have been adjusted by HG Auto House. You can see also that there isn't any major leaks or anything like that on here. You know, all this stuff was looked at fairly recently by HG, because when I got the car, I wanted it to be safe. Because as you saw, I had the kid seats in the back. I wanted my kids to be able to go in the car with me without worrying that the car was going to have a problem. So I'm just kind of showing you the back so you can see that there's no oil leaking all over or anything like that. Trying to get you some good angles. And I'll just let you listen to the car a little bit.